Welcome to the Mek Wi Talk program here in WZPP and WZOP. Today we're going to talk to the Jamaican Consul General to... Go ahead, Mr.
This
Mayor.
is Dale Holness joining in with Mr. Tavares this afternoon, and we're going to talk money, but our conversation is going to be a little bit different this afternoon. It's always been about education and information and how we empower people. So we're going to talk about the function of a consulate office and how that helps people to connect to their country and how they represent people, and some of the things that's done to help folks that are here in the diaspora. This certainly is the voice of the Caribbean. We're on 96.1 FM Miami, 92.7 FM in Fort Lauderdale, 1590 AM in Tampa, St. Petersburg, 102.3 FM in Hollywood, North Miami, 105.3 FM in Vero Beach, and that covers the Port St. Lucie area also, and 99.7 FM Orlando, Winter Garden, and Lake Mary. Now, I'd love for you to call your friends and get them on the radio to listen. And they do that by going to wzppradio.com and download the app. This afternoon, we have on the line with us the most popular Consul General that we've had here in South Florida, representing the Jamaican government. And I've lived here for 50 years. That's a long time, and I've always been engaged within the community, and I've seen many come and many go. Some fine people, certainly, but in terms of engagement with the community and involvement in the community, no one has come close to the Dean of the CARICOM Consular Corps, Jamaica's Consul General, Oliver Mair, who likes to sing and dance, and a true Jamaican at heart, covering the Southeast United States, large territory, and we believe we're almost number one in terms of the Jamaican diaspora representation. New York might be there close to us. So, Consul General Oliver Mair, welcome to Mek Wi Talk Money. How are you, sir?
I am good. I'm good. Happy to be on the program. Good afternoon to your listeners, and always a pleasure to come on and share and get some feedback. So, kudos to you on this platform.
All right. So, what I like to do, and I know you have been on here a few times, but I like to let folks know a little bit about the people that we're hosting, and so they can have some connection. Tell us a little bit about where you were born, your schools, your work experience, and your involvement from the professional side of life before you even got into being a Consul General.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So, born in Jamaica, St. Joseph's Hospital, went to Vaz Prep. Honestly, but bears a lovely face, perhaps one of the most established preparators in Jamaica, right? Kudos to Juliet and team and Mrs. Vaz. That's down on Deanery Road. And grew up in Vineyardstown. Of age 4, went to live in Hope Pastures up in Leganese. Then, went to Campion College from 1st to 5th form. Excellent high school. There's a heavy competition to actually get into Campion, and so I thank Vaz Prep for preparing us, and did 6th form at Wilmer's High School for boys. And then went on to University of the West Indies, And university has been ranked in the top 4% of the universities in the world.
Powerful.
So,
Liquor Jamaica, Talawa.
Liquor Jamaica, Liquor Talawa.
Yes.
Got a upper second class honors there, and then went on to do my master's in business administration at the Nova Southeastern University. They actually had a program that did most of the classes here in Runaway Bay, Jamaica, and then did the final stint coming up to Fort Lauderdale. Then professionally, I've worked with Jamaica Broilers at my first stint, and then I went to Air Jamaica, where I was involved in several departments. I was in in-flight services, customer service, auditing, a little in human resource. I ultimately left as the regional marketing manager. As we know what happened with Air Jamaica. So I went back to Jamaica Broilers, where I did a little under 10 years there. As sales marketing manager. I've also been involved in real estate with Coldwell Banker. I've had my own private business, supplying in agriculture, supplying hotels with local produce. I've also been a playwright, producer of plays in Jamaica, which have been received ACTA Bar Awards. So, been also performed with University Singers and the Jamaica Musical Theatre Company. And sports-wise, been the vice president of the Jamaica Table Tennis Association, and also competed competitively both in table tennis and tennis, as well as football when I was at high school. So that's a little, a nutshell.
Seems very well rounded. Now I understand a little bit why you're so gregarious, from from the standpoint that you have been involved in theater and in performance, but also understanding the broad background that you bring to this position, the part of your business acumen and understanding the need to support business and help businesses along the way. And I think our last event that we were together was when we hosted the Minister of Commerce and Industry here in South Florida at the Broward County Commission and elsewhere to ensure that we're connecting the business community here with Jamaica, because it's very important for us to realize and recognize the need for trade and commerce in growing economies and creating jobs and alleviating poverty for so many people. And entrepreneurship is something that brings that kind of reward. So your background there, I certainly see why you're so engaged in the business side, but also in the social side, because you're a singer, dancer, and performer, and all of that. So again, good to have you on. I know you have family here also. Talk a little bit about your family history and where you are now in terms of that.
Yeah, I want to just pay tribute to my wife Tanya, my daughter Serena. When we came up here 5 years ago, October, the 5 years, Serena had just got into Immaculate High School and spent about maybe a month there before coming up here and starting school. So she has had a solid 5 years here in the United States, but primarily her formative years have been in Jamaica. My wife and I grew up in Jamaica, and she's up here teaching. And I want to thank them both for being patient with me, giving me the flexibility to be as active as I have been in the community. Because as you know, it's to be able to attend 6 and 7 events on a weekend does. You need to get the visa to leave the house. That's the first thing. So my wife has to stop off on the visa for me to leave, and my daughter is actually a co-signer on that visa. So whenever I'm allowed to leave, I have to make up at the time in some shape or form. So in the week we try to do things together and have that special family time, which is so important
Critical.
in terms of building blocks for us being up here. So there's give and take, and I want to thank them both for being understanding and patient.
So that's something else, and I know I've heard you spoke of your father in the past. So you can go ahead and talk about that side of family development and the older generation. What helps you get to where you are?
Yeah, I want to just I've been blessed with great parents. My mom, who's still alive in Jamaica, she's 82. Has just been the most selfless individual I've known. Always has given of her time and love to myself and my brother, Peter, who's 4 years older. My dad, who passed away December 21st, you know, was a man, very supportive, believed a lot in education and sports. And so from very early, he ensured that, you know, we did what was required to get to the next level. And he's always been, you know, right there supporting me, doing my productions. They're selling the ticket. The house, man, you know, collecting the money. And then when there was a cast members, he's the one that would organize the payment and ensure everybody went off safely. And so I was given the space to do what I did best now, to watch the plays. You know, whatever I didn't like, I would tweak it for the following day production. And for the admin side, he did it, and he's ensured that we got involved in sports early. And so I was involved in football, table tennis, lawn tennis. My grandfather was the first boxing promoter in Jamaica, and he was also the first table tennis president. And so very early I was involved in those sports, actively involved. You know, they say if you're not very good, you end up in administration. So,
so you weren't a good boxer. Huh? Did you try doing some boxing?
No, I didn't try the boxing, but I watched all the boxing. You know, I watched all the boxing matches. It was a joy for me when, for example, Roy Jones Jr. actually came down here, and we took him out for lunch and did a little sparring session with him. Well, that's a sparring session. A couple of minutes with us, just for the video's sake, you know.
Because it couldn't be any more than that, just for the video.
No, not at all.
Because you'll be flat on your back in 0.1 second. Right?
But I've been reading about it. Certainly. So, yeah, man. Yeah, but just to salute them, my dad and my mom, for all their sacrifices. I didn't come from money. You know, they're very much a middle class family. So my dad actually spent most of his years working hard. He left KC from fifth form, and he had to be supporting his family. When I say his brothers and sisters, and so he didn't have the benefit of getting like a degree and further education. So he insisted on it. So, you know, I really owe a lot to him. Whatever I've been able to achieve, I mean, outside of the Almighty Father, which gets all praise, you know, I salute my parents for the active role that they played in my life and my brother's, Peter's life as well.
Yes. So now you arrive here in the United States and you are engaged in the Jamaican community. But as much as you're engaged in the Jamaican community, you're also engaged in the CARICOM community. You're now the Dean of the Caribbean Consular Corps. You are the longest serving member of the Corps right now, I believe. And talk a little bit about how that functions, how you bring folks together with that from across the Caribbean, all the members of the consulates that are located here in South Florida to connect, to build bridges. If you'd speak a little bit to that.
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience. I mean, I'm happy that we took the lead in pulling the group together, and you know, what we have here is fellow consuls general who we have become friends even before we get to the business side. I mean, we spend a lot of time together discussing issues that impact our relevant territories and how we can work together. And so we've formalized the group, and the current dean. We will rotate leadership, of course, at a given point. But we meet on a regular basis. We have our next meeting on September 27th. We work closely with State Department. We work closely with some of the state agencies down here. We work the Miami Airport, the protocol team, and various community leaders will come and present to us as a group. Currently, we have about 9 or 10 of us who meet religiously once a month, and we have some events planned. So we're looking to put together something before the end of the year, a joint effort. And we have collaborated in terms of supporting, for example, Belize when they had a hurricane. We were able to get some resources to them through some of our cruise lines. So we made a generous donation. We've also gotten working with GEM down in South Florida. We've been able to get some relief supplies to various islands that have been impacted. So during COVID, we collaborated as well for supplies. And so it's been a very good example of how well the Caribbean can work together, leaving egos behind and looking out for each other. It's been an excellent experience, and I salute my fellow consuls general in this regard, and thank them for their ongoing support, participation. We're all on the same level. Even though I'm the dean, we don't look to elevate ourselves over any other. We look to elevate each other, elevate the interests of the Caribbean. And when we speak, and there was a particular matter that we had some time ago at the airport, and we made our concerns heard, and the relevant company, they flew down their vice president, and in no time the issue was resolved. And really just reinforcing the message that in unity there is strength.
Yes.
These individuals are very important. They have been handpicked by their relevant, prime ministers. And so they come here with a particular influence and clout. And so like minds working together is always a good thing. And I can safely say that their respective prime ministers selected well because they each bring their unique skills to the table. And we're happy. Last event we had, everybody was singing One Caribbean together. And I'm very happy about the exciting future that we're all creating together.
Even before you came, I'd been engaged with the CARICOM Consular Corps going back many, many years, even prior to being elected almost 20 years ago. And the dynamics that I experience now is from the group shows a lot more unity, a lot more camaraderie, being together even more. I mean, I work with various Caribbean governments setting up sister city program with Petionville in Haiti, setting up sister city with Trinidad and Tobago in Chaguanas, and of course I did one with Falmouth in Jamaica, and visiting some of these countries because of my engagement with them in trying to help to facilitate the needs that exist here. And at the county when I was there, oftentimes I get the phone call, we got this heads of state coming in at Fort Lauderdale Airport, which sadly doesn't have the kind of protocol that the Miami airport does. But we've made some strides. I know when we hosted them, you were actually on a mission somewhere else, so you weren't able to be there when I hosted them a couple of months ago. But it's far improved based on the input that I received from them. We now have two places where you can have host your leaders when they come in. And there was a point in time when Prime Minister from Trinidad came and was leaving. I didn't have a place to host her. We had to use someone else facility. The airport didn't have one to provide. We now have a dedicated space at Fort Lauderdale Airport for that to happen. And part of what I'd asked over time was to see how many of those consulate office could be relocated to Broward County, and many, because of the facilitation that they received in Miami-Dade County, didn't want to come to Broward County for that and other reasons. But Broward being the center of the metropolitan area for South Florida with over 6 million people, I think is the ideal location to service the diaspora population in the South Florida region. And I'm hoping to continue on that effort, working with a group called World Trade Center Fort Lauderdale. They're looking to build a facility in downtown Fort Lauderdale to facilitate trade and economic opportunity across the region. Consul General, we're going to take a break in a couple of minutes, and we'll come back and we'll talk about your function and how you connect and help people connect to Jamaica and facilitate business.
Sounds good.
Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark the talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense.
You're listening to WZOP 92.7 LP FM.
We're not the airlines, but we can take you to the islands every Sunday at Island Vibe Sunday at Blue Martini and the Galleria Mall. Enjoy happy hour from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. Enjoy live reggae music with the Visions Band from 8 p.m. until midnight and dance music by DJ Mikey Mike. It's a vibe, a cool, chill vibes. Island Vibe Sundays at Blue Martini and the Galleria Mall.
cancer is the most common gynecologic malignancy, but over the last decade or so, we've seen an increase in new diagnoses and worsening death rates. Uterine cancer has the highest and rising death rates of all cancers in women. We also know that many women are not well informed about gynecologic cancer symptoms or normalize them. Black women are at a particular high risk for aggressive types of endometrial cancer, yet are underrepresented in studies. In South Florida, we have a diverse group of Black women with US born and Caribbean born women, so we hypothesize that they vary in symptom understanding and recognition. The focus groups are centered around postmenopausal bleeding in Black and Caribbean women to assess perception of bleeding symptoms. We are recruiting both English speaking and Creole speaking Haitian women for their own focus groups. We want to know your thoughts about how bleeding could potentially impact your life or the lives of your family and friends. This will help us know where we can start to make changes and how we approach teaching and advocacy around this problem. And this is a 1 hour focus group of about 6 women, which is compensated, and a brief questionnaire to obtain demographic information. Please give us a call at 305-243-5434 to understand if you are eligible to participate in those focus groups. If no one answers, please leave your full name and phone number and we will get back to you. You can also email us at wbelizaire@miami.edu. That is WBELIZAIRE@miami.edu.
For more info, hit us up at wcbbradio.com.
When the game
Welcome back to Mek Wi Talk here on WZBP and WZOP. We have with us Mr. Dale Holness speaking to Jamaica Consul General to Miami, Mr. Oliver Mair.
Thank you. So if you have not yet called your friends and your family to get them to tune in, I want you to do so. You can go to wzppradio.com, wzppradio.com, download the app. We're going to talk a little bit more with Consul General Mair, and there are 2 areas that we're going to look to highlight his office engagement in. And one is how the diaspora help Jamaica, whether it be through finance, resources, supplies, and what numbers to contact, because some of you have nonprofits, some of you want to be sending stuff down, but there's a process, of course, that has to be gone through, and that office help to facilitate that. Also, call your children and your grandchildren and tell them to listen, because that land of wood and water that we love, Jamaica, allows for citizenship if your parentage are Jamaican. And the Consul General is going to tell us a little bit more about that and the process that we need to go through to get that done. Consul General, one of the things that while we're speaking, I realize you talk so much about your background, and I've been around you since you arrived, and some of it I didn't know. You know,
Well,
I didn't know your tennis, your table tennis. One day we're gonna have to find a table tennis table to play a little bit, and let me see how good you are. I love table tennis, of course.
we can play for some red stripe beer or something.
And some good old jerk chicken.
But listen, if I may, through you both, I have some lovely Jamaican T-shirts.
Yes.
All right, and if you know, just on the spot here, anybody listening, if you like my Instagram page, Mair Oliver, this is where I really get to share some of the stuff that we're doing at the consulate. You know, you like the page, I can watch. We will pick by the end of this interview. We'll pick, and then the person will be through your office to get. We'll give out two nice Jamaican T-shirts, courtesy of the Jamaica Tourist Board. So just bear that in mind. Anybody listening, you just like Mair Oliver, Mair Oliver, Instagram page, and we'll pick 2 names. Allow somebody to pick in the office and announce it before we finish here. So you were asking.
So let's talk about one. If someone wanted to do business in Jamaica, let's say they want to invest in Jamaica, how can you help facilitate that investment? Because we're talking money here, so it's a big part of what we talk about on Thursdays and Fridays on this show. Mek Wi Talk Money. if someone wanted to invest in Jamaica, whether it be in the stock market, whether they want to go down and build a factory, or they want to get into agriculture, or they want to get into tourist business or transportation or any avenue, how can you help to facilitate them?
Okay. Well, investment, as you're aware, is a broad spectrum, and I just want to quickly reiterate that Jamaica is open for business. We have been moving in the right direction. We are one of maybe three countries in the Western Hemisphere that have come out of the pandemic with GDP growth. We've been having an average of 3 to 4% growth. Debt reduction, or debt to GDP, has reduced from 148% this year. We'll close this budget year at 74%, which means that we are paying down our debt in a massive way. And we also have the lowest unemployment rate ever in Jamaica's history at 4.5%. These are not opinions, these are facts.
Data. So one of the things that I noticed also, Consul General, on the very point you're making, is that there was an upgrade in Jamaica's credit rating
Right.
that occurred recently from a B rating to a double B rating. And folks might say, what the heck is that? What am I talking about? What B rating, double B rating? So what does that mean? It really means this. And Broward County, by the way, has a triple A bond rating. That's the best you can get because of our fiscal responsibility, the reserves that we have built. So and our ability to pay our debt as a government. And similarly, that occurs for business also, where they get similar business bond rating for the business. It means then that you can borrow money at a lower interest rate. It means then that you are established as a secure and safe place to invest. Just as when you have a good credit score as an individual here, you can borrow more money and you can get better interest rate and easier. It means the country of Jamaica has now moved to a place where their bond rating has improved to double B rating. Hopefully double A is coming down the road. And that speaks to the fact that they have reserves. It speaks to the fact that they've paid down their debt, because that's something that they look at. It also speaks to the fact that there is revenue generation coming. And when you have low unemployment, it means that more people are engaging in the system to pay taxes into the system. That helps to ensure that future debt that you may take on, you're able to pay, but also that the current debt you have, it makes it more secure and easy. And it also does something else for the country. It means that the country can borrow money at lower interest rate, which hopefully will help to facilitate the expedition of the paying down of the debt that has come down significantly in the last couple of years. I remember when interest rate was like 20-something% in Jamaica.
Listen, it's very important. And I know sometimes when we start to speak about positive developments taking place, sometimes, people are quick to remind that there are challenges. And yes, there are. There's several challenges in Jamaica. But let us give thanks when we have these positive developments, because they're significant. I remember in investing in the 1990s, and interest rates were at over 50%. I used to have my money on fixed deposit over 50%.
You're making a lot of money, but it was costing a lot more at the stores too, right? Inflation was high.
And I listened to the talk show programs, and they used to say, if we could just get our interest rates down, the country could move ahead. And that was always the refrain. No, interest rates are below 10%. People can, we have managed to keep, Jamaica's managed to keep inflation at a very low level, 6% for the year. We're talking about or having the record revenue coming in from tourism. This year we will do $4.2 billion earned in tourism. I mean, these are all significant developments. Why am I saying all of this? Anybody listening to this conversation must know that the time to invest in Jamaica is now. which leads me now into two areas I want to mention today, because in investments we can talk about a wide range of areas, but I just want to mention two today. And anybody who would like further information from this, I will, leave my email address. You can,
This
and I will certainly pass, coordinate to the relevant authorities, agencies in Jamaica, right? But I want to mention that on our Jamaica stock market, we have 101 listed companies, and many of the companies, Mr. Holness, have been record performances. So they've been doing excellent results. The prices in the market right now are depressed because, generally speaking, interest rates worldwide have been on a higher level. So people have moved their funds into interest rates as opposed to the stock market. But there are great values there. You can speak to an investment advisor formally about that. And we have a number of companies in Jamaica, whether Victoria Mutual, Jamaica National, Jamaica Money Market Brokers, Proven Investment, just to name a few, that are licensed brokers that you can pick a choice.
If someone were to send you an email, Consul General, would you be able to provide them a list of those
That's right.
investment bankers?
I can provide a list, some options, and
Give us the email address again, please.
general at jamaicacgmiami.org.
All right, do it one more time slowly because you broke up a little.
Sure. Yeah, Consul General at jamaicacgmiami.org.
One more time.
Yeah, Consul General, and that's CONSUL General at jamaicacgmiami.org.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and talk. So you have one area you talk about in Jamaica, a stock market, which for a few years ago was ranked #1 in the world for like 2 years in a row, wasn't it?
Right, and that was based on the returns that were experienced for that particular year. Now,
For those 2 years.
right. So to make the point now that the time to buy typically is when the prices are down,
Mhm.
and so prices in Jamaica, I made a point that companies are doing well, but the prices have come down because interest rates are a little higher. It's a great opportunity to buy. All right, and you can speak to a licensed investment broker about that, and I can send you that information when you email me, or you can go to the Jamaica stock market website, and they will be happy to send you any information, and all their the analysis on different companies are available right there, free of cost, for you to peruse.
At Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Stock Exchange.
Okay.
Once you Google them, you can go on their website, and the information is there. The licensed brokers, the companies that are on the stock exchange, 101 companies. And actually, it's going to be 102 shortly because they just had a recent IPO recently. So that is the stock market, all right? And I could talk for hours on the stock market, but that's just brief.
And I know you have a bag of money invested in that, you know?
No, I don't. That's the point I want to make to everybody listening. The stock market is open. I mean, people can start with as low as 5,000 Jamaican dollars.
Wow. 5,000 Jamaican dollars? How much money that in US?
about $50 US or less than 50, about $20 US.
That's right. And so you can start with, come on, we have stocks. We have stocks. I mean, when you think about
A little more than about $35.
when you think about a company like Jamaica Broilers with over 60 years of experience that, is selling poultry in Jamaica. All the poultry in Jamaica is produced locally. There's no imports.
Wow.
And they've set up shop here in the United States.
So Consul General, you said poultry. Some people,
Chicken.
yeah.
Chicken.
Okay.
Fowl.
There you go. I was going to say that too, sir. Or the fowl.
Our fowl. And you know that I'm a man with lots of experience in chickens. I could speak about for a long time. But Jamaica Broilers up here is actually the #1 agent selling eggs in the United States. So, so when you think about a Jamaican company doing well, and their stock is selling in Jamaica for 31 Jamaican dollars, worth that out in the United States.
A penny is that?
That's like a penny stock.
Jeez.
So when you think of these sorts of deals, and let me just say this for persons listening, I'm not a licensed investment broker. I can't, promote any stock.
Yeah.
You have to go to a licensed broker to get the formal information. I'm just speaking broadly
Yes.
about opportunities available back home in Jamaica. And the last point I'll make is that from the comfort of my office, I can buy and sell stock. And it's not rocket science.
Mm.
You open the account, which sometimes a little tedious, I must confess. But once you get going, you can do most of your transactions online. I just yesterday I bought some stocks, and from the comfort of my office without picking up the phone and speaking to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But just want to speak about the ease of doing business. A lot of us left Jamaica years ago and don't realize that Jamaica has kept up to date with digital technology, and persons can do a lot of their business online from right here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I want to mention quickly, because I know we have other things to cover, is that there's some opportunities in orchard crops. I mean, agriculture is always a big thing in Jamaica, but certainly we know that there are big opportunities, and there's a big push by the government for persons to get involved with orchard crops that are, you're looking at a 3 to 5 year horizon, but crops such as breadfruit, ackee, pears, right? These are crops that the government is encouraging because there's a huge demand here in the diaspora for them.
For exporting, yeah, for importing them.
I mean, we have persons here who say, boy, if them could get 40 containers of ackee, they could have sold all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the government is going to be leasing land through Agro Invest or through Jampo, who will facilitate the discussions. Of course, you have to meet criteria of a business plan and be able to lease and show that you're fit for the business. But the lands will be leased, and especially for orchard production, because we want to ensure that we are meeting demands of that are available here in the United States and already in the diaspora, especially with products that we want to consume here.
Just to talk a little bit here. A few years ago, I understood we were importing to the United States ackee from Haiti. Yeah.
Well,
So that tells you if there's an opportunity,
Yes.
some entrepreneur somewhere will take advantage of it.
Yes.
And this sounds like we're talking money here, where you can actually get involved and make some money. This again is not something that's going to happen overnight, especially when it comes to the crops that you're talking about. It takes a few years for them to materialize. Will the government also be helping with technical assistance
Yes.
through the agricultural department, Consul General?
Yeah, they have technical advisors that go around and give some level of technical support. Of course, anybody getting into agriculture, you do know that you ultimately, even with the technical support through RADA and the Ministry of Agriculture, and assisted by JAMPRO, I mean, ultimately, you will have to do a lot of your due diligence. Get a farmer, you get farm help. They can give advice about the crops to grow. I mean, there are places that you can buy your seeds, your suckers to plant, and there are lots of chemical companies there on the island. There are fertilizer companies, and so support is there. But I mean, there's hand holding, but this will be your business. So you'll of course have to run your business like anywhere else in the world. You have to get involved and ensure that you have proper management systems in place. But the opportunities are there, which is really what I want to highlight.
So, Consul General, we've got about 5 minutes left. One of the things I talked to you that I wanted us to talk about is citizenship by birthright
Yes.
for Jamaicans, so that your grandchildren, even probably great grandchildren, are eligible to be citizens if you are born a citizen of Jamaica. Tell us a little bit about that and how you help to facilitate that within the next 5 minutes.
Right. And I wanted to say the website, I wanted the persons to be aware, www.jamaicacgmiami.org is our website. So if you don't remember anything that I've said today, all the information about, citizenship, renewing your passport, all of that is on our website.
Birth certificates.
It's www.jamaicacgmiami.org. All right, so everything is there. We cover 13 states.
Consul General, can you just say it a little slower for us, please, sir?
Please.
Sure. All right, it's jamaicacgmiami.org.
Jamaica, charliegod.org.
Yeah.
Okay. You cover 13 states in the Southeast United States. What are those states that you cover, Consul General?
All right, so we cover states such as Florida, Texas, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma. We go as far west as Arizona, Alabama, New Mexico. So we cover 13 states, and so most of the persons that will tune in from here will be South Florida. And I encourage those who would like to, for example, renew their passports. It's best to come into the consulate. And why? Because we have an opportunity to review your paperwork before we send off to Jamaica. If there are any mistakes, anything that you have left off, we can just correct it right there. We can also take your pictures. We don't take the pictures. There's an outside contractor, but they know what they're looking for with the pictures, so we can get those right and send it off. So you have less hassle with your applications when you come into the consulate. You can mail in, but I strongly advise when you're mailing in, go through the forms clearly. We have the forms online, print them and read them carefully. So you have all the relevant signatures in. You get your pictures done at a proper photo lab, so that you don't have any delays. Because once there's a mistake, we have to now write you back to ask you for whatever you left off or correct a form, and that causes undue delays and frustrations on both sides. All right. So persons listening, once you're close, once you're within an hour and a half, 2 hours, you should come down to the consulate, and you will be happy to hear that we have actually waived the need for an appointment. So
Wow.
you can, right? I don't know anywhere else is doing that now, right? And that's just for us. We're trying to be as responsive as possible to our community, and so we have allowed persons to come between 9 and 12. It's not that we work between 9 and 12. We're open to the public between 9 and 12. The hours that we spend after is in administration, ensuring that we administer what you bring into us. All right, so 9 to 12, we're open to the public.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
All right. So, Consul General.
So citizenship, right.
Yes.
So let me just.
Well, I got a minute left.
Yeah, all right. So if you're born here in the United States, but your parents are Jamaican, either your mother, your father, or your grandparents or your great-grandparents, you're entitled to become a Jamaican citizen. And that's the citizenship by descent. All the requirements are there online. There's a Jamaican citizenship by descent form. Your birth certificate.
And we're going to have you on some more because this is not enough time. Consul General Oliver Mair, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And look forward to speaking to you soon.
Excellent.
LPFM.
We're not the airlines, but we can take you to the islands every Sunday at Island Vibe Sunday at Blue Martini and the Galleria Mall. Enjoy happy hour from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. Enjoy live reggae music with the Visions Band from 8 p.m. until midnight and dance music by DJ Mikey Mike. It's a vibe, a cool chill vibes. Island Vibe Sundays at Blue Martini and the Galleria Mall. For VIP reservations, 954-529-4605. WZOP would like to thank Blue Martini for their contribution to this station.
WZOP Radio is celebrating 7 years in radio broadcasting, and this Tuesday we'll be having a special celebration on WZOP, WZPP, WEXI, WVRO, and WHOT. Voice of the Caribbean and INI Radio will be coming together for a day of prayer, a day of worship, right here on WZOP, WZPP, WEXI, WHOT, WIDT. We will be inviting the listeners to pray with us. There'll be special pastors, special political leaders, special artists coming on the station on Tuesday to help raise funds and pray with us right here on WZPP Radio, celebrating 7 years in your Caribbean American community. It's very important for us as a Caribbean American community to have a voice. So